Matt Chandler recently sat down with Lecrae and they talked about a plethora of different things. But one of the topics that did arise was how pastors are continuing to fall and be exposed of sins that they are hiding. Now, in today's video, we're actually going to dive into what Matt Chandler has to say about this specifically and why these things occur. So, with that being said, here is what Matt Chandler has to say about this.
They come into ministry and they have, let's just call it a pet lion, some little sin in their life. I'm not trying to downplay the sin. I'm just
Sure.
saying
Yeah.
it's not full grown. It's an area of his life he should be working on or she should be working on. They shouldn't be. They should be confessing this. They should be putting it to death. They should be putting, but they're not. And then God starts to use them because God doesn't need you to be all that he's asking you to be for him to flex. And so God starts using them in profound ways. But they also hadn't put this lion to death. And now that lion's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, but so's the platform. The platform's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And with the bigger platform, oftentimes, I don't think we can judge faithfulness by outcomes.
Yeah.
But the guys we're talking about here, now you got a church of 5,000. Now you got a church of 6,000. Now, who are you going to tell about this lion? Well, you can't tell anybody about this lion. You can't, because the mistake is that now this job is better than Jesus. Or the shame of it now is going to be so much greater than when your church was 300 and you should have handled this little lion. You should.
Chandler makes a good point. These things, your sin and your ministry begins to grow rapidly together. And with what was seemingly a very small sin, all of a sudden is now full grown and it is taking over even more. But the issue now lies is you have this massive platform. You have these followers, you have everything. And so the error that we see with this is obviously people in ministry wanting to look holy, wanting to look perfect, wanting to look spotless. But that is not the reality. And so Chandler's going to talk more about this here.
Yeah. But what happens is these two things are growing up together. And now you're at a place of greater influence than you probably could have imagined when you were 25, 28, 31, wherever it was when you started. And so now you're stuck. Even if you realize, oh man, this is a problem. Like this is an apex predator I've let into my house. And the shame and pain I'll bring upon my wife and children, or the fruitfulness that I'm seeing, or the disappointment. You're going to destroy this church or this ministry that God's built. You're going to defame the name of Jesus. And then a guy just starts feeling stuck. And oftentimes, I don't know if it's conscious or not. Now we're going to start taking the steps towards blowing this thing up. And so whether that's been financial or another woman or being ridiculously heavy-handed on people.
Now, guys, as we can see here, Chandler's making very good points. He's laying it all out saying, hey, this is what happens. This is sadly the reality of most of these ministers who then all of a sudden are exposed and have been caught in sexual sin, money issues, or something else. They begin to want to please man over the Lord. They begin to want to try and figure out how they can keep up with their ministry, even though they have this catastrophic sin that they are still hiding behind closed doors. Guys, I have come from a church that hid so much sin, so much darkness, because they were more worried about what people would think of them. They were more worried about their reputation. They were more worried about the money coming in than they were about the Lord. This is evil and wicked, we should not stand for things like this. We need to be praying that sin in these contexts just keep continuing to come out and being exposed. These Christian leaders who are leading these churches, but secretly hiding dark sins, need to be exposed and called out. Because the last thing that we need to do is continue to put sin and hide it under the rug as if nothing is there. Who cares about the ministry? Who cares about the money? Who cares about what people are going to think? Because at the end of the day, it is us individually standing before a holy and righteous God. As if you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to the BTteam Ministry YouTube channel, as well as drop a like and leave a comment. Would love to know your thoughts on this. And if you enjoyed this video, you might like this one over here.